Hi, everybody, and welcome. And we have something special for you today. Please go ahead.
Oh, are we going to start with this?
Yes.
There you go.
So, welcome. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Cosmic Sis-Stars, Kareen and Anne. Queen Kareen. That's my new version of you. And it's Wednesday, May 7th in US and Europe, and Thursday, May 8th in Australia. And you are watching us right now. Today we will talk about harmonizing positivity, the power of vibrations and frequencies, and therefore the singing bowl you just had. I love it.
Mhm.
It's
Yes.
perfect. And our last show on Cosmic Guardians and Cosmic Sisters was last Wednesday, April 30th. And we talked about quantum entanglement when particles dance in cosmic harmony, because there is harmony in everything if we
Mhm.
just dare to look, right? And you can connect with us, find upcoming shows, past episodes, read articles, find Corrine, find me, and much more at angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians and angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming-past. We always go live on facebook.com/cosmic guardians and youtube.com/@angelplaceonearth/streams. So today, let's dive into today's topic. Isn't it
Oh,
a bliss?
it is a bliss because we are sound and light. And at our conception, we start beginning to feel the vibrations and the harmony of our mother. We feel her blood. We feel the heartbeat. We feel her sound. And uh, this allows us to begin to connect with the world that we are going to be experiencing. And even the breath that we take, the moment you are born, it has been studied that it was told to the Hebrews that you could never say the name of God. And the reason was because it was a vibration. And as they have learned that vibration of wahe, and when it is in a vibration, it is the first sound we make when we are born, and it is the last sound we make when we die, because we go wah,
Oh,
and the breath itself is the vibration of all creation. So that is a great one, vibration of creation. I love that.
that's perfect. You know, I didn't know that. Thank you for sharing.
I am as we start thinking about a subject, as I said, the universe goes, oh, they want to talk about it. Let's give them this information. And all of a sudden, all of these wonderful things start formulating because it's as if creation itself wants to be recognized on all of these levels.
Yes. And I think you are absolutely spot on with that, right?
Hmm.
Um, we just need to pay attention, and that sounds so simple, doesn't it?
Yes. And we've talked about being in the now. And even the earth literally has a heartbeat that is measured. It's not a fictitious thing. It can be measured and monitored. And interestingly enough, in 1996, when there was a shift in energy, we started receiving a pulse from the center of the universe. And scientists still to this day don't really know what it is, but it is definitely not just a random a thing, and it pulses, it vibrates. And it's interesting because it's as if it is moving us into this shift of becoming more of who we really are and getting reconnected to our ability to feel the vibrations and see the vibrations, as we talked about last week in the particle, in the quantum particles.
Yes. And that's intriguing. It's interesting. Um, because everything is energy, everything is frequency, and everything is vibration. And we've been talking about this before, but there are so many different perspectives and angles, right?
Hmm.
So you brought something up today that's really intriguing for me, and that's the energies, the megahertz and what they stand for. Because if we go back to a show we did this past autumn about Masaru Emoto and his water crystals, right?
Yes,
If
yes.
we if we contain water and we resonate and we pick up um, frequencies and energies, we resonate with that. So obviously, different types of frequencies are going to be important for us, right?
Very much so, because all of our emotions um, will make beauty and harmony. I'm going to see if I can find, like in the book, I don't know if it can be seen, but oops, I'm not good at this. Okay, the one that
Yes.
I showed you, this is Victoria Falls. And and they have different frequencies in here on, okay, this is, this one is the heavy rock music that our people listen to. Look, there is no
Oh,
consistency there. And this
no.
is Bach. So if we are water and we are sending all of this confusion into us, how are we not living in a world where we are not in balance? And all of our emotions emit vibrations, which are changing our insides, which are changing everything that we touch, everything that we come in contact outside. And there again, it goes back to that being impeccable with your word, because the words you say are going to cause a vibration and change the frequency within a person on a level that we're not even aware of.
Exactly. And some of us, I'm one of those. It's like I can't say that I really hear the vibration, but it feels for me like some sort of a hearing. It resonates.
Hmm.
So concrete transfers frequencies and energies and sound, right?
Hmm.
And I can almost hear, I feel it. I know when something is going on.
Yes.
It can be many floors, right?
Hmm.
Far away, but I'm going to pick it up.
Yes. And before we had modern technology, we utilized that ability to communicate with our world. And there's a tribe that was just recently found, and the anthropologist was talking to them, and they wondered why he could not hear the sound of the stars, because they still were in tune. And to hear the sound of plants, uh, we just look at a plant and think, oh, well, it's a plant. They now have a way of attaching a little uh, a wire to the plant and then translating what the plant is saying to musical sounds. And they'll do this on the different plants. The harmony and the beauty that is all around us that we don't pick up with our ears is amazing. And we are we are so intricately connected to everything, and it does affect us, but we are not aware of it. And learning how to use these tools again, I think we would be able to communicate with people and animals and plants on such a different level.
It would be very, very different actually. Because if we are picking things up like that, um, meaning that we are so sensitive to things, for instance, high consciousness frequency and energy is considered to be from 500 megahertz and above, right?
Hmm.
The other ones are lower ones.
Yes.
Um, so it's kind of interesting. But whenever we go to places where we call it's a power place, maybe an ancient site um, that we can feel holds a lot of energy.
Hmm.
It's usually high consciousness energy, right? So
Yes.
it's from 500 and above.
It's interesting because um, there are certain places where where they do chanting, or you go into a temple, a cathedral, and there's just a different feel there. They literally have found out that these different areas vibrate on different frequencies, and the ones that are attuned to a certain frequency, I just found out, have a rose, a glass rose that is put in there in the windows, indicating that that is going to be where, if the energy there is vibrating at this frequency, and the energy and the one that was next to it or around it, it's going to bring harmony to the whole area. We have the ability to live in complete peace and harmony if we get back in to recognizing these vibrations and becoming attuned to them.
Exactly. And we thrive when we are in an environment, and this is why it's so important, our personal space, to do our best to keep the energy as good as possible, right? But
Hmm.
we are not only absorbing, we also radiate if we
Exactly.
have a good vibration within, right?
Hmm. Yes, and all the gifts that we do have, like the healing that people do with tuning forks, and there again, it's that vibration. And this little bowl that I had, there are healers that use different size bowls and put them on the person's body, and then hit this to change the vibration in the body. And when I was in school, we had a class on sound, and every single organ in our body vibrates to a different frequency. So interesting. It just, I remember this one from ancient times. But if a person doesn't like Barbara Streisand, most likely they're having a gallbladder problem, and they're not even aware of it, because
Oh,
that vibrates on the gallbladder. And I had tapes for every organ, for the heart and the liver and everything else, where you could play that sound or that song, and it was going to assist it. I took that one step further, and I did a study with a woman called Sherry Edwards, and she had the ability to hear beyond our human hearing, uh, almost high as a dog hears the different sounds. And she had created a machine that basically would be able to identify what was missing in your body, whether it was the C chord or an F flat or an A major, and duplicate that. And by using the machine, she was able to put that frequency back into the body. And
mm,
she was even being studied at the universities. So it's a real thing. The Aborigines use sound to heal. The Tibetans have used sound forever. And I mean,
Yeah.
even, and I'm going to do the ohm here. We're going to send the vibration. Our
Thank you.
voice has vibration.
Yes. And you know, words have vibration also. We talked about words. You know,
Absolutely.
we talked about the four agreements, be impeccable with your words and how you talk to yourself. Because if we are absorbing, how am I treating myself? And how I treat myself is going to be a compass for how I let others or I show others how I treat myself, right?
Yes, very definitely. And we get so in the habit of jokingly saying something that if you really were listening to what you were saying when you get up, oh, it's going to be a bad hair day, I've got this, and all of these things that we impact on our water that is
Yeah.
changing the cells in our body. When you become aware of this, wouldn't it be great? You can still look at the hair and go, we're going to be creative today instead of using it in a negative. And if we catch ourselves, and when we're speaking to ourselves, when we're speaking to others, finding a way to use those words to be uplifting. And it does make a chemical change, it makes a cellular change, it makes an emotional change. We are powerful.
We are very powerful. And you said something interesting in your articles because you stated a few megahertz, right?
Hmm.
So our bodies are composed of frequencies and respond to them, as we've been saying, right? The
Yes.
frequency of optimal health is 432 megahertz.
Hmm. Yes.
Interesting.
And when we are around that energy, we're going to thrive. But when it changes, it can do damage, like I showed you in that picture. All of this hard rock, and there's music for everything. However, when the frequency is so chaotic, it is going to create riots, it's going to create confusion, as opposed to when you're listening to something that is going to be soothing. And I don't mean just the harmonics, but the frequency. And at one time, all instruments all over the world, every violin, every guitar, every organ was at 432 hertz. And then
They were, right?
and then some people realized that if they controlled that, they could control people. And nationwide, countrywide, global, changed it to 440. And there were some people. I met a young man the other day, and I just got goosebumps when because I was writing this article and I was telling him a little bit about it. He was a musician, and he says, "Yeah," he says, "I tuned my instrument to 432," and I just said, I just got so excited. It was just so wonderful that he understood the value of having it at that frequency. So every time he played, no matter what he played, whether it was the boogie woogie or whether it was sweet and adorable or whether it was a little bit loud, if it was at 432, he was healing. And
Yeah.
that's the beauty.
Yeah. And something else interesting because you showed us your singing bowl. If you want to, you can do that again if you want to.
Well, how about
Because
if I
your singing bowl, yeah,
this one?
your singing bowl resonates at 444
Yes.
megahertz.
the
Mm.
angelic frequency, and this is my singing bowl. Isn't that wonderful?
That's wonderful. I have to add something too, because
Mhm.
also our home, our space, right? Our environment, because um, energy is usually in constant movement, but sometimes corners, places where we don't do things a lot of the time, right?
Mhm.
There can be energy, sorry, getting stuck. So that's a brilliant thing to go into the corners. I use a bell that I
Yes,
ring like this.
yes, because it does, and just like our bodies get blocked, uh, and that's why when we use harmony, or we use touch, or we use Reiki, and we open up those blockages, and we're not solid. We are constant motion, and by honoring that, uh, we allow our body to be the best it can be. And talking about frequencies and energy again, and we were talking about moving the particles, and I showed everybody
Yes.
my little fork. Now these I moved with the frequency of just looking at them. I was in a group where we were doing this. I have not yet mastered this on my own, but I mean, I really got some interesting little twists and turns that, because I wasn't just going to be happy with bending it down this way. I had to see if this stuff really worked, and and it did. I mean, that is. But last night at meditation, I happened to have them laying here because I wanted to have them when we did the podcast today, and we were just talking in conversation, and I picked one of them up, and I said, yeah, I said, you can even do this kind of stuff. And then I laid it back down, and one of my students looked at me and started laughing, and he says, you just casually picked that up and said, oh, this is kind of what I do on a Friday night. and and it was, he said, you do it so nonchalantly. And but when you understand frequency and vibration, it's what you live. It's not something that's outside of you. So to me, this is normal. This is normal everyday stuff. you know?
Yeah, and that's so fascinating. You are like a new Uri Geller, right? But he's
Yes.
bending it with, yeah, in other
Yeah.
ways. But that also shows that everything is possible. Everything.
Yes.
And it may be considered that people may say that's a miracle. Yes, it is. But we are full of power to create miracles.
Yes. And we have all of those abilities. I think that's why I don't go around saying, look what I did, because I understand that this is so much more than I. And when you connect to that quantum particle, to the field, and there again, I happen to have the opportunity. Sorry, I've got stuff laying over here. When I started doing Reiki and energy work, um, and I this is who I am, moving the energy. It seems so real and natural that it's kind of an amazing thing when people go, "Oh, what is that?" Well, there are a lot of people that for many, many years, that was just what weird people do. And then the book, The Field, came out, written by a
Oh,
physicist, talking about what was beyond physics. This is when quantum physics started coming out. There is something beyond the box, and that's where everything happens. This is the 90% of our brain capacity that we don't use unless you allow yourself to move into the field. How do we do that? Let's try meditation.
Exactly. Yeah, and meditation is not only sitting down, closing your eyes, and
No.
just trying to go out there. It's being here now, present moment. Be
Yeah.
here.
You can
That's
you
how
can
we can receive. We're tapping into the field.
That's right. It is there again, being in the now, being mindful. You can be sitting looking at a beautiful area in Greece and seeing all the nature, and you become connected to the field. You can be taking a walk. You can be holding a child. You can be just sitting still. It's not a matter of forcing your mind to stop thinking. It's more allowing your mind to just be receptive. And there's no
Yeah.
force. There's just taking that breath and just being there.
I remember many, many years ago, and I was trying to, it was at the time when we were told, uh, get rid of your thoughts. And what happens when you try to do that? You
Ah,
focus on your thoughts. Oh, I'm
exactly.
thinking again. Oh, I'm thinking again. But you know what? Tap, tapping into the field means that when we get guidance or we receive information, it can come in the way of thoughts as well.
Hmm. It does. Inspiration, in spiritus,
Yeah.
in spirit. That's how we communicate to spirit. And when people come from my Tuesday night meditation, a lot of them have had like formal meditation where you have to sit in a lotus position and you have to be still, and a lot of different restrictions. And I have these big, comfortable couches, and then I put a footstool out for them, and I give them a blankie, and I said, I want you to just be. I said, I'll do all the heavy lifting. I'll get us where we need to go, and you just be in the energy. And we also, I tell anyone if they fall asleep, you're still in the meditation, you're still in the energy. And if anyone thinks that they snored, we blame it on my dog because she meditates with us too. So, I got you covered. Just be in the moment. And if thoughts come up, don't fight them. Just be with it. And
Yeah. We
yes.
have someone here. I'm going to put this up here. So we have Linda joining us,
Uh
watching
huh.
us, and Linda says, "I have a dear sister here in Calgary who has many beautiful crystal bowls. Her tuning forks have gone missing. I have remote viewed them and see the scarf they are wrapped in and the box they are in. We have still not located where they are, though. You're going to find them. I know
Yeah.
you're going to find them.
Yeah.
Interesting. And it's beautiful when we have singing bowls. It's that frequency, when we are um, doing it in our environment, right? That's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yes. And all of the things that we use to bring that frequency back, if we still remember that nature itself vibrates on all of these different frequencies, there is a frequency and a vibration that goes from plant to plant in the root system. They literally talk to each other. They will tell each other if danger is coming. There is a communication that goes on that we are not privy to. And it's amazing that we're starting to again realize. And I think I mentioned once before that they have found that an hour before dawn, the birds will start singing. And that frequency causes an energy, and there's a name for it. I'm sorry I don't have it written down, that will allow the plants to take a breath and wake up. Everything is so beautifully put together. And when we begin to understand that we are part of this incredible miracle, we're not against it. To be able to absorb it, to enjoy it. And I get very giddish, like I'm a child at Christmas time, because there is so much beauty and taking the time, being mindful, and
Yeah.
becoming part of it. So much that you're missing.
And we absorb, right? But we also radiate, as we said before, and we do influence our environment, meaning the place we live, that may feel like it's only stuff, but also people, animals.
Mm-hmm.
And ever experienced when animals come close when you're doing something that's going to raise the vibration? They love it.
Oh, yes. And it's interesting because they'll come up and they'll kind of give you that, they'll turn their head to like, what is going on here? How is that human doing that? And once they understand that you are in harmony, or you're using the tuning fork, or you're just sitting there in your own essence, and they'll come up and they come to you because that's something they understand. And
Yeah, yeah.
it's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
I many times I do sit outside and do great stuff, working with energy in one way or another.
Hmm.
But one time I was performing Reiki more deliberately, you could say.
Yes.
And because we have geese here, they came, I don't remember how many they were, 7, 8 of them, a flock. And they formed half a circle in front of me. They just loved it.
Hmm. Well, I had a situation, and I did not see this myself. Um, but I was with a friend. We were in the mountains, and I love the rain, and I love the full moon. And we're in the trees, the pine trees, and in her cabin. And I, for some reason, I said, I need to communicate. I need to. I call it just stepping out. And I went into trance, and I'm just sitting there at the table, and my head is down, and I don't know how long I'm in this meditation. And when I look up, she has this look on her face like she's seen something that just was so startling. And I'm going, what's the matter? And she goes, she said, while you were doing your thing, she said, the clouds separated because it was raining, and the moon shone down on the cabin. And she said, and then the trees bent towards the cabin.
Oh,
And I'm going, wow, I wish I could have seen that. you know, but I mean, she's watching this happen. So wherever I was, what energy I was tuning into, the frequencies and the vibrations, this element happened. And I really wish I could have seen it, because that would have been kind of interesting. Uh, but I was also very thrilled that someone had witnessed it, because when I'm in trance, I'm there. I don't know what's going on around me, and but that was an experience that I treasure. You know.
Yeah, you know, you have so many stories of that kind because you learn to be present, and that is so important, right? So if we could ever inspire anyone with talking about these things to
Mhm.
pay attention here and now, here,
Yes,
right
yes,
away.
and basically, our modern life has come about literally to distract us from who we really are. And all over the world, there are amazing things like what I just said with you that people are doing, and they get set aside. Nobody ever really hears about them. And then if they do, it's put in an area where it's uh, something funny or not real. But this is how we are supposed to be enjoying our environment. We are vibration, we are frequency, we are those quantum chaotic particles that are wandering around. And just because we see ourselves in this form, that that is not our limitation.
No, and we are divine humans. And that's important to remember, as Greg Braden always talks about,
Exactly.
that we have our divine humanness. Never
Yes.
ever forget that. And it can't be replaced with anything else, nothing.
No, and we do not need to be improved upon. We need to remember our connections. We need to remember that we can heal ourselves. Um, Many times people will come for alternate healing when the medical profession has told them, hey, you're incurable. And they'll come in and they'll say, the doctor just told me I'm incurable. I have this incurable stuff going on. And I'll say, oh, that's so great. And of course, they look at me like I'm in the wrong place. And I said, no, he just gave you permission to have the cure from within. Incurable means
Yes,
the cure is
in
within. And I said,
incurable.
yes. So now we just have to assist you in finding your way to allow that healing to happen. I am not a healer. I am there to give you guidance so you can be your own healer. I do
Yeah.
not create this. I am a vessel. I am connected to the energy, and each day a little more and a little more. And one of these days, then I'm going to say, now I think I've got it. But right now, I'm just getting to it.
But you know what? Um, it's same with healer and teacher. It's someone who opens a door for you, or multiple doors, or showing you the way. But everybody has to do it themselves because it needs work. It's never ever a quick fix. Um, but we need to do it for ourselves, and we can. Many times people say, but I can't do that. It's stronger when you do it. Yeah, but everybody can. And there's no such a thing as failure because even if we may not feel when we are starting off something that we do it exactly the right way, we're going to find the way. We need to continue, not give up. And remember one other thing that's interesting for me. Healing starts to occur at 432 megahertz.
Mhm. Yes.
Mm.
So, I mean, simply surrounding yourselves with things that are going to be encouraging your healing while you're doing it, and try to avoid the things that are not conducive to the healing. So, little things like that that you can do on the external while you are allowing yourself to be connected to who you are. And many times I'll have someone come up and they'll say, "Oh, this, and this, and this is going on, and everything else. And can you, can we do a session?" And I'm thinking, well, we can, and you're going to feel really good. However, it took you a long time to get this way. It's going to take some time to unwind all the little intricate things within your whole essence that are taking you to this ill ease. And are you willing to put in the work? Uh, I chuckle sometimes when I have people come up to me and say, "I want to do what you do." Okay, let's start at the very beginning. And I'm going, the books that I've read and reread and still reread and read even some more, the classes that I've gone to, the the stuff that I do for myself, like writing down what I need to, the vibration I need to change, and every day reading that out loud and then changing it as the energy changes. I mean, if you're willing to put in the effort, then you will have the results. You will never be me, and thank goodness for that. But you will be uniquely you, and you will have this something to give to the world that is amazing. And I really,
Everybody has something to give to the world, right? Everybody has,
absolutely,
because we are all different and unique. We
that's right.
wouldn't like to be copies of each other, but somehow this is what we are taught to be, put into boxes.
Yeah,
This is what's supposed to be. This is how you should act. This is
right.
everything. And I'm not talking about having a bad attitude or going against laws and things of that nature, because we
Yeah,
do need to have those things. But dare to be unique, dare to be you,
yeah.
your best version. And something else that intrigues me, colors have their own vibration as well, right?
Oh, I'm glad you said that. Because we wouldn't see color if it didn't vibrate at a different frequency. Red vibrates at a different frequency than green, and blue, and so you are actually, when you see colors, you're seeing sound, you're seeing vibration. It,
Oh,
you know,
interesting.
yeah, yes, and
That,
there is
that's
so much.
fantastic.
Um, I mean, even smell. I mean, I'm not able to smell color, but I found out that people that smell rain are very unique. But that's a chemical change that I'm smelling. So that's actually a smell that I'm smelling. But not everybody has that ability to smell rain. And I thought everybody did that.
Yeah, because it was normal for you,
Yeah,
um, and something that a unique thing for you, right? But normal for you.
yeah,
And when things become normal for us, when we are kind of sitting in our own skin and thinking that we are not unique, we don't have anything special, we all do. But we
yes,
need to discover it for ourselves, right? But I
yes.
want to ask you, because you are so experienced, you're
Oh
a
no,
well, you're
no.
gold mine.
I'm
How
curious.
can one how can one start off to raise their vibration?
That's a beautiful question. And it is so simple to just not be trying to force something to happen, but just take that moment. And however that you take a couple of seconds to just be quiet, to just be mindful, to just be aware, to be in the now, and just allow it to happen without having to go do something. Little things like that start you on this journey. And then pretty soon you're going to find that taking that moment, sitting, watching a plant grow, you become so absorbed in that, and everything around you just stops, and you become in the zone. And in the zone was something that was used a lot in sports. Oh, maybe 20, 30 years ago, they finally realized, how can certain people just run through all of those people and make a touchdown, make that basket happen? Because they literally get quiet, they get in the zone, they get in touch with the field, and that's all there is. And just allowing yourself moments that become minutes, that become a lifetime.
Yeah. And something else, when you are connecting with the field, the real field, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that's going to judge you, or there's nothing that's going to force you to do anything. You're going to receive ideas, inspiration, guidance, but it's coming with love. So
Yes.
there are no things coming, right, like this is what you need to do,
No.
because if you don't, yada yada yada. That's
Yeah,
not going to happen.
it's very subtle. It's very subtle. And for years, when I was first being introduced to meditation, um, and you would hear all these people say, "Oh, well, when I went into meditation, I saw this and I felt this and everything else." And from the very beginning, when I would close my eyes, there was nothing but black. I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything. And for years and years and years and years, I thought I was broken. And then I had someone say that people spend years and years and years to get to where I was. That when you are in a true meditative state, there is no thing, no sound, no thought. There is nothing. It is black. And I go, well, that's where I go every time I do it. So I, I guess that's where I'm supposed to be. And so when I realized that I can immediately step into the oneness, I mean, as we're talking, I could go right into the oneness without any fanfare. And so I practiced with a friend of mine. We would go up to her cabin, and I love to use the expression, you want to go on a vacay? And I would sit there, and I was making physical contact with her because I wasn't aware of what was going to transpire. So I would hold her hand, and I would go into the nothingness, the oneness. And afterwards, I would ask her what her experience was. And she's the same one that had experienced when the trees came down. We were up in the cabin at the time. And this one time I said, well, how was it? She says, I kind of wanted to see where you were going, so I thought I would go there. And she said, at first it was like Star Wars, and then she says, and then I decided, no, I'd just stay right here and let you do all that. And I would just enjoy the peripheral. But that's what I do when we are here for the open heart meditation. I hold that energy so people can be near it and experience it without having to work their way into it. And I don't know how that happened. I think that was just a gift, and I'm just different.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
That's perfect. And we have Miss Linda here again. So Linda says, I was out with the same Sis-Star. She says Sis-Star. Wonderful. I love that. I mentioned earlier, there were three of us out hiking and had our feet in the cold river. It was raining and gray. A Sis-Star with us asked for a rainbow. We turned around to see a double rainbow. Wow.
Mhm.
Beautiful experience. I'm overdue to get out there again.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
yes,
perfect.
yes. And they're always there if you're quiet enough to just be amazed at it. See things as if you are a child seeing something for the very first time. Even if it's the bazillionth time you've seen it. But look
Yes.
at it and allow everything to come through. Yes.
Yes, and you know what else Linda says? So now you have a companion, and I do smell other things too, but probably rain too. Yeah, I do. Wow, I thought everyone could smell rain too.
I did
No,
too. I mean,
yeah,
I can even smell ants. And but I'm like I said, I thought everybody could do those things. So it's thank you. Thank you. I won't be the only one out there going like this.
no, you're not. And yeah, you could say that um, I can smell kind of bacteria, but I mean the kind of bacteria that doesn't really smell to everyone because if there
Well, I
are
mean,
stuff you can, but I can actually.
I could smell
It
when my
happens to
kids
me.
were getting sick. I mean,
Yeah.
it just maybe I have a big nose. I don't know. My daughter, on the other hand, she sees colors around words. So you can be saying I love you, but if the emotion is not there, she can tell. And it's I'm going to use a little harsh word, but that is the greatest bullshit detector that I've ever heard. That somebody can be, oh yeah, we've got this big project and everything else, and these words are coming at her, and she knows exactly that they're not, what their emotion is behind it. And I thought, wouldn't that be a handy tool? You know?
Yeah, fantastic. Um, but sometimes when we have an ability that may be a little bit unusual, so to speak, not maybe everybody has that, we can feel that we are off, but we are not off. It's nothing wrong with
Mhm.
us. We
No,
just have been gifted with something. It's a gift.
that,
It's a
that's
blessing.
right. And but if we start recognizing our gifts. And one thing that you said that I really want to touch on is how teachers come into our life and they may not have the label of teacher or healer or whatever. And next week we're going to be talking about the Celestine prophecy. And that is one of the things that when a coincidence happened, when a person that we don't even know, but maybe there is something that they're bringing us. Maybe there's something like saying, "Oh, did you see such and such?" or "Have you heard this?" And that's all they came to do was bring that little message to us. So our teachers, if we recognize the information that we are gleaning from all around us, are given to us, and some may work and some may not work, but at least we've got ingredients to put into the pot.
We have. Um, I'm going to write about this. From next week, we start a new series. We can talk about this. We're going to mention it again. Um, and it's going to be um, the Celestine prophecy. When I read the book around the year 2000, there were 9 insights, and then there have been more coming, right? So we are
Right.
up to 12 insights, but it's fantastic. It's about energy, it's about synchronicity, it's about spiritual growth, understanding things,
Hmm.
and how we can Okay. Okay. Thank you, Linda, for interacting with us. Sorry, I got distracted. Um, so we are going to do twice a month. That brings us, I think, sometime into November, maybe early December, because there are
Wow.
12 insights. Plus, we're
Yeah.
going to have a summary. So I love the summary, right? 12
Yes.
insights in a summary.
Oh, yes. Yes. And interesting enough, talking about vibrations and colors being vibrations. When you see auras around a plant or a person, that is the vibration that is turning into colors so it will become visible. And one of the things in the Celestine prophecy is learning how to do that. And you can learn how to see aura around things. And we will be touching a little bit about that in the first um, throughout the session. I'm going to be bringing that up, but there's just so much out there. I invite people to just really love being in love with this beautiful, pure human. I mean, we have so much to be aware of and to really tap into. And we don't have to improve anything. We just have to open the doors and unlock um, the ideas that we've been given that we can't do it.
Exactly. And I just, it's going to state something. It's my perception, and everybody has their right to their own perception, right? But for me, our soul is already perfect. We don't need to come here and go to school. We
No.
need to remember, we need to fill that gap
Yeah.
from the incarnated being and the soul, right?
Yep. And I feel that we are at another time where people are just feeling so restless. I have many people coming to me. Uh, I feel like we got to change this job, this relationship. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And that uneasiness that we're feeling is nudging you to allow what is really within yourself and come in contact with that. Because we have come here to be part of the evolution, to bring what is possible to fruition. And I think loving yourself is the key, because when you start loving yourself, you can start allowing the fact that even though you are perfectly imperfect, you are the perfect you, and being
Yeah.
impeccable with your thoughts and your words. And meditate. That's only communication. That's nothing out there. It's just a communication with who you really are. And embrace your authentic self. And in doing so, you will discover the divine connection where miracles lie and will unfold.
Yeah. And you know, when people, because I also talk on almost a daily basis with a lot of people, right? But I always ask them when I think that I need this or I need that and I can't have that and that's not going my direction or what's going to come and stuff like that. But who determines what is a failure for someone and what's that coming from, right? I think all of those things are on this journey. We need to peel that onion because what may be appearing for someone as a failure may be a blessing, right?
Oh, many times, many times. And um, when I went through my divorce after 23 years, wasn't the most pleasant thing in the world to go through. However, I thank my ex-husband. He's come several times to me and apologized that things happened that way. And I tell him that if he did not have the courage to go through with the divorce and make that happen, I would have never, ever been able to become who I am. So that
No,
gift
exactly.
and that trials and tribulations, but they allowed me to now connect with my true self. So
If you hadn't gone through your challenges, do you think you would have made the effort to walk this path?
no,
No.
no, because
See,
I
see,
would have stayed in the status quo. I would have tried to make it happen. I would have been living in the matrix, doing the okay, get up, do this, do that, and everything else, and the making do with my life. And now I don't make do with my life. I live my life. I thrive
yes,
in my life. And
yes, you do.
as a human, I still make blunders and mistakes and oopses and marvelous things. But it is my portrait to write to paint. It is my
Yeah,
symphony to
yeah.
direct.
And I
And
have an interesting perspective on that. So if we are to experience certain things, if this is a stage here, let's say it's a stage where we play roles here, coming here. Well, if I'm going to experience something that I need, maybe someone needs to play the role, right? Or
yes,
you said to me when I broke my leg last summer, you said, well, you gave the opportunity to the doctors to do a good job and people to help you because I had three doctors. That's a miracle by itself. Three doctors coming to me less than 30 seconds
that's right.
af- after my injury, right?
Yes.
Um,
And your break was very unique. And it gave them the opportunity to go, oh, well, we've never done this before, so now we can do this. What a gift you gave them, you know?
yeah, I did. So I played a role there.
Yes, you
And
did.
one could take it from the opposite side because we have the polarities in energy. And I could say, well, I'm a victim, but I never considered myself a victim.
No,
Of course, I didn't want to break my leg because it's painful, right? But it doesn't mean that things doesn't happen, and they do happen for all of us. But also someone who's going to play a trickster in someone else's life. And with trickster, I mean someone who's going to make difficult things that urges us to make choices.
exactly.
Maybe that is a very high developed soul. You never know. We can't judge. We can't
Ex-
judge. Or the
exactly right.
person, the homeless person on the street, maybe that is a very high developed sensitive soul. We should not judge, right?
Exactly. Because and this is my perception, I really feel that even when we are having to be around atrocities, they give us an opportunity to be able to feel compassion or feel anger. We are given an opportunity to experience it. And as bad as it is, if we can turn that around and utilize that information to become a more compassionate, more understanding person, and get to the point where we all are living that way, then we won't have to have the severity to kind of push us into it. And many times, something that seems very tragic in a person's life has made that person. And you talk to like Oprah and people like this, that the adversities that they went through, they didn't stop them. They moved them through and allowed them to glean that information, that hidden information that was only theirs to become the beautiful person that they became.
Exactly. And well, someone has to play a role. That's it, right?
That's right.
And you could many times sense a person, even though someone may have had a very challenging life. And we can talk about that sometimes because I have a kind of a new perception sometimes why we are encountering so many difficulties. Maybe there's a way of stopping certain people or, to move forward. That's a different topic, right? But you can see, if you look in someone's eyes, uh, you can see it's a mirror of their soul. You can see kindness and you can see a lot of things in someone's
Yeah.
eyes.
Yes, and I mean, but you're never going to see those things if you're rushing hither, there, and yon, or if you got your face planted in an iPod or something. So you have to engage in this beautiful experience we call life.
Exactly. Oh, I'm so excited. Um, it is an intriguing journey, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It is. And I must have been very adventurous when I said, "Oh, well, throw that into my life, and give me a little bit of this, and let's try that because I can do all those things." And then I get down here and I go, "Uh, did I really ask for these things?" I mean, there are times when I really I say, next time I sign a contract, I'm going to read the fine print.
Ah, I'm so sorry for laughing. Yeah, I agree with you.
You
And
know,
I've been very cocky and I've been stating a lot of times, well, I don't think I'm going to come back for a while, at least, because I do also think, or my perception is that we do have a choice. We are not forced to, but we are maybe manipulated sometimes. There are so many things going on.
yeah,
But we are not really forced to, because if we were forced to, where is the free will?
that's right,
We
and
have
it wouldn't
free
it
will.
wouldn't be done out of love. And uh, I've been told many times that I'm going to be earthbound until I'm 130, and so I've got 40 more years to go. you know.
Yay!
However, however, when I do soul interpretations, I realize that every soul has written into their contract an exit plan, and I can tell you the times where I almost died and I could have left. I could have very easily left, and and I think what I did is I go, wait a minute, I still got stuff I got to do, so I need to head back. But we have given ourselves, because we have free will, of not staying the course, and so it's kind of interesting. And when you're ready, I will gong us out. So,
Okay.
are you ready?
So I'm ready to wrap it up, right?
Okay. Well, how about if I gong
If
us out and then you wrap us up? Okay.
absolutely perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was beautiful. And thank you everybody for catching up with us today. You have been watching Cosmic Sister show with Corinne and Anne, talking about harmonizing positivity, the power of vibrations and frequencies. And well, we have really dived into vibrations and frequencies and energy. We love that. You
Yes.
can find our past episodes at angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming-past. And you can also find them at youtube.com/@angelplaceonearth/streams or past episodes. Our next upcoming show here on Cosmic Sister Show is going to be next Wednesday, and we are thrilled. It's May 14th, and we are going to start talking about the Celestine prophecy. So it's going to be introduction and insight one next week, and the first insight is a critical mass, a spiritual awakening is occurring globally, right?
Hmm.
We are doing a new series of all the 12 insights. So we start launching on Wednesday 14th, and we are planning to go 2 insights per month, talk about them. And at the end, we're going to have a summary. So we're going to reach at the end of the year, right?
Hmm.
And you can join us every 2 weeks for this as we embark on this journey of discovery together. And I love this because I read the Celestine prophecy around the year 2000, yes.
Yep.
When I started my conscious journey, because we can have an unconscious journey as well, right?
Yes.
So again, find upcoming and past episodes at angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming-past. Find Corinne and me, upcoming shows, past episodes, read articles, and all phone numbers, everything at angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians. We are presented over there. And thank you for watching us today and interacting with us, everybody. And I say love, light, peace, and joy to everyone. What do you say?
Love, light, peace, and laughter.
Oh, I love that.
And I see you.
Bye. See you.
Bye
Bye.
bye.